I have many weeks of cold weather ahead, but I'm still starting some seeds in my garden. Hi, I'm Gardener Scott, and I discuss everything gardening so you can become a better gardener. Join me today as I discuss and give you some tips on how to plant before your last frost date. In my last video, I discussed 12 of the plants that you can start before the last frost date. And if you haven't seen that video, I'll give a link to it at the end of this one. Today, I'll show you all the steps of how to get these plants into the ground. The first step of all of this is you determining what plants you're going to grow this season. And once you've determined your plants, you have to decide, are you going to start them from seed outdoors, start from seed indoors, or get plants that you're going to transplant into your garden beds. And I've got other videos that will discuss that much more in detail. Once you've decided on seed specifically, that's what I'm covering today, the most important information is gathered from the seed packet itself, because it will tell you when you can start your seeds. I've decided that these are the seeds I'm planting outside, and right now is the best time for me to start them. In the video where I discuss these 12 specific plants that I'm starting before my last frost date, I also discussed the hoop and plastic idea. By putting plastic over hoops over the seeds, I'm gaining about 2 to 3 weeks of extra time from what it says on the seed packet. So if the seed packet says that I can start 4 weeks before the last frost date, by giving a little bit extra weather protection, I can easily start 6 weeks before my last frost date. I want to begin with the soil surface being as flat as possible. So in this bed in particular that I'll be planting today, I'll just take a trowel and I'll scrape the surface, not only to loosen up the soil, but to flatten it so that it's as close to level as possible. Another piece of soil preparation is to actually start watering the bed a couple days before you plan to sow your seeds. It's much better to sow your seeds in moist garden soil than dry garden soil. So this bed is nice and moist. It's been leveled. By scraping and leveling, the top surface is nice and loose. And now I can think about putting these seeds in the ground. I'm going to lay out the seed packets ahead of time based on my garden plan. And one tip that I've learned over the years is that you need to make sure you're going to label every single set of seeds. I actually do that ahead of time. I'll write the name of the plant on the tag, and then I'll put a little slit or open up the top of the seed package and slide the tag into it. So when I get out in the garden, all of these packages already have their plant tag in them, all ready to go. So I'll place the seed packages roughly where they're going to go in the bed. And I'll do this with all the beds that I'm planning on starting today. Here's a good example of being flexible with your gardening plan. As I said, I like to lay out all my seed packages ahead of time because I think it goes pretty quickly. You can grab a package, put the seeds in, and just go down the row. But it's windy enough today that my seed packets started blowing around. So I've got them stacked in the order that I'm going to sow with just a rock on top. You don't have to be rigid with your gardening methods. It's okay to do things a little bit differently. I'm going to start with this Swiss chard. And as I look at the seed packet, I see that the seeds should be started 4 inches apart. They should be ½ an inch deep. Rows should be 20 to 24 inches apart. And then I'll thin the plants to 12 inches apart because chard gets pretty big. I'm putting the chard on the north end of this bed. The sun comes from that direction. So because this is going to be the tallest plant in this bed, I want it to be on the north side. That way, as it grows, it'll shade the pathway. It won't shade any other plants that are on the other side of it. I also want to point out that even though the seed package gives you great information, as you'll see in some of my upcoming videos, you don't need to follow it specifically to the letter. For example, the rows need to be 20 to 24 inches apart. Well, that might hold true in open garden space, but because I'm planting in this raised bed, I can end up with the plants being a final of 12 inches apart, because ultimately that's what I'll thin them to. So as I put in a couple rows of this chard, I'm going to put the rows 12 inches apart, not 24 inches apart. The reason it says 24 inches is to give you room to walk around them and weed. But because I've got full access to this raised bed, I don't have to worry about that. So I can put the plants in much closer. For the first row, I'm going to use my trowel and just slide it along about 6 inches from the end. I'm trying to get about ½ an inch deep. And then into this trench, I'll drop the seeds about every 4 inches. Now, because this trench is already about ½ an inch deep, all I need to do is just move some soil on top of these seeds and they'll be at the right depth. An alternative method of starting these seeds is where I've marked my second row, is to just take some seeds in my hand and place them on the soil where I plan for them to go. And then using a finger, I'll just push the seed into the soil. Now, I actually prefer this method of doing it. I think it goes a little bit faster. In this row where I dug the trench ½ an inch deep, I put the seeds 4 inches apart, as recommended on the seed package. But we're eventually going to thin to 12 inches apart. So I don't like to waste a lot of seed. And in this second method, not only can I push them in with my finger to about ½ an inch deep, but I'm actually also going to space them about 6 inches apart so that I have less wasting of seed. I'll still thin to 12 inches, but I'm not going to be using as many seeds in this row as in the first row. And then I just cover that little hole with soil, and I've got 2 rows of Swiss chard all ready to go. I use a third method when I'm going to start plants like spinach and carrots. They don't go very deep into the soil, and they're pretty small seeds. So what I'll do is just sprinkle them on the surface along the general row where I want these seeds to go. And then when they're in place, I'll just lightly cover them with this loose soil, and they're ready to go. This plant is a lettuce that says to sow 1/8 inch deep, and I'll be thinning them between 10 and 16 inches. But because they're so close to the surface, there's more of a likelihood that they'll dry out. And most lettuce packages have hundreds of seeds in them. And now, using one of those 3 basic methods, I'll just go through my bed and continue sowing the seeds. I don't have to use a trowel if I want to do the trench method. I could just as easily use my finger, drop the seeds in, and then cover them up. In just a matter of seconds, ½ a row has been sown. The loose soil dries out pretty quickly, so as soon as I have all the seeds in this bed, I want to start watering. And from this point forward, the soil needs to remain moist all the time, or else the seeds might not germinate. The cool season seeds that I just sowed can really handle some cold temperatures. But I'm far enough away from my last frost date, and I've still got a roller coaster of temperatures that I want to throw some of this extra protection over that bed. I like to use hoops, so I'll just place some of my hoops over the bed, and then I'll cover these with plastic to give me some of that extra protection. If you're interested in how I made those cattle panel hoops, or you want ideas of different options for hoops, you can check out this video here where I show 4 different methods. I like using the plastic at this time of year before the last frost date because it warms the soil and it warms the air. But it also creates an environment underneath this plastic that is more humid than the outside air. So I want the soil to remain moist while those seeds germinate, and a more humid environment helps. If you live in an area with a lot of spring rain, then don't worry about using plastic to keep up the humidity. In fact, you might actually want to use the plastic to keep the soil from getting too wet. And if you're in an area where the nighttime temperatures are already staying above 28 degrees Fahrenheit, then you probably don't need the plastic for warmth either. In my area, the nights are still getting pretty cold, and in a couple days, we're dropping back to the low 20s. So I'm using the plastic just to keep the soil temperature high enough to allow a nice, steady, and successful germination. A nice gauge of the soil temperature without using a thermometer is to look for things like garlic. My garlic has just started to pop up, showing that the ground is warming. The process for starting more seeds underneath the plastic is exactly the same as in an open bed. I'll use one of those 3 basic methods to sow the seeds. Because the soil is warmer underneath this plastic, I can also put in some transplants at this time. So if I had taken some of these seeds and started them inside, I can use those seedlings in these same beds and bypass the individual sowing of seeds at this time of year. Now, I've been asked before about these hoops and whether I need to remove them when it comes time to put plants or seeds in. Not at all. There's plenty of room. This is a cattle panel hoop, but if I was using PVC or any other material, it's the same idea. Just pull back the plastic and you've got full access to the bed. When I want to do the other side, I'll let this side down, bring up that plastic, then the bed will be complete. Even though it might be a bit more humid underneath this plastic, I still need to water. At least once a day, probably multiple times a day. So to do that, rather than taking up a side, I'll just undo the end. And then I'll take my watering wand and I'll water the bed from the end. A primary reason why I'll water from the ends is because on most days you should have the ends open. One of the biggest problems with using plastic like this is the buildup of heat. On very cold days, it's something you want. But when the sun comes out and you start having warm days, the heat within this hoop can actually get very high, high enough to damage, maybe even kill the plants. So in the morning, after it starts warming up, I'll come out and I'll open the ends on all of these beds. It gets some airflow in there, it helps moderate the temperature so it doesn't get too hot, and then it allows me the opportunity to water. On overcast days, I usually won't open at all. There's little need for it. And I usually don't have to water on those days because with no sun, the soil moisture isn't evaporating. On the hot days, it's open. At night, I close them back up again because that's the primary reason why I'm doing all of these hoops with plastic, is to keep the nighttime temperatures warm enough that the seeds will germinate and then continue to grow. I still have a month and a half until my last frost date, and my garlic is already coming up, and I've got 3 beds planted and ready to go. If you missed some of those other videos that talk about putting plants in the ground at this time of the year, well, you can link to them right here. And if you want to become a better gardener, well then subscribe to the GardenerScott channel. Be sure to click on the bell so you know when new videos are coming out. I'm Gardener Scott. Enjoy gardening.